Okay, Matthew.
Yeah.
When we were in second grade?
When I won the Illinois Young Authors Award, I remember.
Yeah, it was before that. We were walking to school and it was quite muddy. And Matthew tried a shortcut, to get to the back of the school where we had to go in. And he got stuck in a quicksand effective of mud.
Uh-oh.
Stuck in there, literally. I went in after him to rescue him. And I got stuck too. But the point is I went in after him.
I'm sorry.
Sees me struggling over here and he's just...
I'm sorry.
Yeah. I will not soon forget.
You're right. I still owe you from that.
You're listening to Sappenin Podcast.
Sappenin! You are listening to episode 321 of Sappenin Podcast, featuring myself, Sean Smith, and my good friend Morgan Richards.
Yes, it's me, Morgan Richards, and welcome to Oblivion. In this house of cards, they'll never take us alive. Whoa, oh, 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 oh.
Yes, this week's guests are Matthew and Nathan Leone of the wonderful Madina Lake.
I love how you just straightly ignored my...
I have to.
You have to?
I have to.
Self-harm at this point, really, isn't it?
It's like you punched me in the kidney. Anyway, let's move on.
I am so happy that it's 2025 and Madina Lake are back as an international touring band. I'll set the scene for you. This time last year, we were very lucky enough to go on the Emo's Not Dead cruise from Miami to the Bahamas. We had the time of our lives. You can go back and listen to those episodes that we did from the boat, right? But one of my highlights and the highlights of last year was seeing Madina Lake come back as a band and play on the cruise, right? You were witness to this. You saw a side of me you've never seen and just reacted to those albums and the sing-alongs, and especially all the tracks from the debut From Them Through Us to You. They hadn't played in so long, and you could see the hunger and the excitement and the adrenaline hit their faces and wanting to do more. As soon as the news got out online, people were demanding to know what was going on with the band's future. But just when they would play shows together again. Since that, they've done one more. They did an opener at the When We Were Young Festival Sideshow, so Simple Plan. And the hunger has still been there. But in February, they are coming back to the UK, a place that has treated them like a second home, for a huge tour starting on February the 4th in Bristol and ending on February the 14th, Valentine's Day, in Birmingham. They're going to be supported by our very good friends in Irish Emoers, Greywind. Shout out to Steph and Paul. We love them. They're probably listening. Thank you very much.
Are they?
They do sometimes, or at least they tell me.
Get in touch with us. That's happening. Let us know you are. Thank you.
Take a selfie while listening to us and then share it. That helps. I don't know. But yeah, Madina Lake are back in the UK next month. So obviously, as the fangirl I am about them, we had to get the Leone brothers back on to just talk about everything and just get the excitement in the air.
Yes. As you talk about that cruise, I realize I've got a video of you. I videoed you going into the pit when they played the smaller stage downstairs, the awesome hidden away one. I just filmed you like loving them and filming them. So maybe we could put that up on our social media on Sean's stalking videos. But yes, Matthew and Nathan are fucking legends in our scene. They are two of the most positive people on earth. They are absolutely fantastic. We had a great chat. One of the maddest stories I've ever heard in this podcast about being involved in, not being involved in, but potentially being questioned about a murder, which is mad. That's the first one. But yeah, I just want to let people know during this conversation, Nathan is the one with the deeper voice, because I just realized we didn't really introduce him with, Matthew, you speak first. Nathan, you speak. So,
Yeah, that's true. And they are twins as well, so you never know really. But we also get to find out how much they actually share, which is more than the average person. Again, twins is a whole thing. But this is the band that I've been obsessed with so much, and they have a special place in my heart. So it's just very nice to see this happen again and to have the time with them. And I appreciate there's a lot of people probably feeling the same, tuning into this, or people just wondering if they're finally admitting that you are the third brother, because hair jokes in it, hair comparisons, the blonde fringes back in the day. Ha 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 ha.
Everyone who's blonde is related.
Yes, you, them, Jedward, they're all part of the same family. No family tree. You all connected to them?
Oh my God. God, imagine out those 5 people together just talking. God, it would be the worst. I feel bad for other people, but carry on.
Before we get into this, just a reminder, please go and keep up to date with everything we got going on at Sappenin Pod on our Instagram. And if you would like to support us in any single way, please go and check out our Patreon page, patreon.com/Sappenin. Not only do you get involved with a lot of things behind the scenes, but just a community of people who we love very, very much, who embrace the emo madness that this thing creates and everything in between. But without any further ado, let us have a conversation. Let us get into everything Madina Lake, from them, through us, to you, on episode 321 of Sappenin Podcast.
I could see on your face that you'd had that fucking teed up for this bit. That's fucking horrible. Sappenin! I can't believe you've done that. Sappenin!
Sappenin!
Sappenin.
What's happening?
I thought we were all doing it together.
I didn't know. To be honest, I had no idea.
I said it twice.
Boys, this is the best start I have had to a podcast, and we have done 320 of these bastards so far, and this has been my most fun start.
Oh,
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, gender progressives, joining us at the moment is the beautiful brothers Leone, Matthew and Nathan. How are you?
Howdy, folks.
Hello. Thank you for having us. How's everybody doing?
Yeah, good. Thank you. But yeah, it's getting closer to UK tour time for you guys.
You're telling me. I'm like panic at this point. It's been a really long time since a relatively long time since we played, really long time since we've toured, and even longer time since we've been in England. So I'm doing everything like overboard. I'm just like drinking water all day. I'm going running at night, like midnight, just running. I don't know why. I don't know what it's supposedly going to help something, but I don't really know. We are getting close. I clicked the days off of the calendar. It's getting real close.
I should start doing that because I currently don't know where my base is.
Wait, what? that might be a problem.
Yeah, I know there's one in Florida. I think there's one here from something we did. So I better get that calendar out.
God damn it.
Oh, wow. Well, when did you guys play together last? When was the last show?
Las Vegas in October. So it wasn't too bad, but it was a one-off. It was an amazing show, right? Simple Plan. Matthew, I forget who else was on it. Oh, yeah, Boys Like Girls, who were fantastic. But yeah, it was massive. It was a great show. But it's tough doing one-offs, when you haven't. Before that, we hadn't played since the cruise, which at this point is like a year ago. So
yeah, wow. I keep thinking that was just a few months ago.
Yeah, but it'll be good to get into a rhythm,
Mm. Well, that's the thing. Like, you guys haven't been over to the UK in such a long time, especially for a tour. And, you've seen the reaction pour out when you've done those When We Were Young sideshows and the cruise of people just wanting more about this. I'm sure as it's getting closer now, it's feeling quite surreal that you're gearing everything back up to go into full Madina touring mode again.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. It's a little overwhelming because there's so many things, you got to think of the permits, the visas to come over there. You got to book the bus, the merch. You got to, coordinate somebody picking all of that up, plus the band members. And then, Mateo is a whole other issue because he's a Colombian and doesn't do anything, So like, getting him to take, the permit stuff. There's just, we're managing ourselves this time, which is a high risk endeavor.
Yeah, I know the feeling. I'm doing the exact same thing with the blackout myself now, and it's killing me.
Exactly. Yeah, so there's a lot to think about, but I think we're in good shape. We all get along really well, which is a nice luxury,
And we do have our flights.
That was the big.
That was a big hurdle.
How are you finding it managing yourselves for a run like this compared to anything before? Because as you said, like, I'm sure there's a lot of the elements you don't really think about until it's actually put in front of you.
Yeah, it's a lot. You always feel like you're missing something for sure. When you want to just focus on making sure that you're putting on, providing the best experience for, the audience. But it's almost like that's the last thing on the list for me. Thankfully, Nathan has been putting a lot of thought into it. We've been having a set list wars we're posting them on our Patreon because we have a WhatsApp group, where the band goes back and forth deliberating over the set list. So I've been posting those until, of course, it gets too vulgar and I just can't possibly.
What songs is everyone fighting for? What songs are getting matched up against each other?
Well, I think it's the cover. We're doing a few covers, and we're having some fights over that, like whether we do. Well, I don't know if we should do.
Like he said, it's not sorted yet, is it?
Yeah, that's true.
You can follow along on our Patreon.
Yes.
Good
But
plug.
yes, talk to us about the Patreon. Yeah, when did you start this, and what's involved?
So Dave, Dave. Everybody knows Dave Pearson, I think, from Lacey.
Yes, we love Dave.
Big fan of Dave.
Yeah, huge fan. So he just sent me a message and he's like, "Hey, you guys should start a Patreon, and share, the stuff with the fans in advance of your tour." And I'm like, "Yeah, okay, what's that?" Yeah, sends me a link, and I'm like, "Okay." Like, I go on there, and it's pretty cool. It's like a way to communicate directly with the people who are really the most interested, and give them, behind the scenes, which it sounds like a pretty typical thing, but in our band, I mean, we have so much going on in our personal lives and within the band that it truly is interesting. You know what I mean? Especially when we're at the F it mode in life where we're like, all right, I'll just share all the dirty laundry and all the, huge big bad decisions that I personally have made. And their consequences, and then just how we all, rail on each other about it in a loving way. So I thought it was a pretty entertaining way to share that.
Well, yeah, it's almost like Madina Lake, the soap opera.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So we're offering people who sign up with Nathan, they can pick a song and Nathan will handwrite a lyric sheet and sign it for them. And then, we do like live stream Q&As and we're posting old content and stuff, like old demos and, tour, just stuff that people haven't seen yet. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, that's cool. Very cool.
Yeah, thanks.
Well, I want to pick up on one of the things you said there about, people don't really know how intense your personal lives are being outside of the band as well. And I think it speaks a lot when there's a couple of years from Madina Lake where there's just a lot of question marks in recent times about what was going on. You'd released the EP, you would come back, and then there was a big quiet period of fans not really knowing what to take from it. I mean, can you just explain those day to day for you guys in your personal lives and how that affects the band and how it's kind of come to that period now where you do have some time aside to let Madina Lake be a thing again?
Yeah.
It's a great question.
It is. It's been complicated. I think in this case, it has just become a matter of we all felt like we really could benefit from connecting again musically with each other. And then, most importantly, I think in a live environment, because we've made a lot of connections with the kids that have supported our band and come and seen us. And it's, I think I've said this before, but when you live 10 years, 12 years with that, and then you stop and you leave it, there is a vacuum in your, almost in your soul or something. And so we need that to be filled. And so, with the four of us, we all live in different parts of the world. Mateo's in Colombia and Chris is in Nashville. Matthew's in Chicago and I'm in Florida. So, getting together is not the easiest, and coordinating all this stuff is not the easiest. We all are on our own career paths individually and separately, but we thought it was very important to reconnect on a live level. We've been writing. We don't have anything we're ready to release or announce, or anything like that. But I think that's always been the hang up, is kind of having something to release to go out and support. And because we kind of had a bit of a rub with that, we figured maybe we would try getting out on the road and playing some shows first and seeing what comes from that. So, but it is ambiguous. I'll admit that. And that's entirely on us as usual.
No, but I'm sure everybody listening to this who's a fan of your band will be over the moon that you're writing and even considering, even if you don't put anything out for a while, just the fact that you're considering writing stuff is very, very exciting for the fans.
That's great to hear. It's a wild thing. I mean, you're always gonna because we have actually been, and we have a whole bunch of music. We really do, but none of it is I'm not happy with it enough with any of it, to put it out. So it's with artists and writer's block and all that stuff, you can go down a pretty dark rabbit hole, as I'm sure you can relate to in some way, shape, or form. But hopefully you keep at it enough, it'll keep coming.
Like, it's pretty serious at a point, particularly when you have kids, and that becomes, your kids like Nathan and I both have 6-year-olds. Although his just turned 7, mine's about to turn 7. And they're the light of our lives, like the number one priority of the universe. So it's hard to be away from them. And that if you have sort of turmoil in the family unit, it makes it all that more difficult. So to commit to being away for long periods of time, that becomes like a deliberation that can almost feel insurmountable,
Yeah, very much so. It's completely understandable. And I think that's the thing now. It's like, because obviously you guys have grown up, and then ultimately the fans have grown up as well. So they've grown up with you as well. So I'm sure they completely understand how important family is over this. And you both having 7-year-olds at the same time. Did you, what? Did you plan that?
It's so weird. What's even weirder is that we both bought houses that are next to each other, and they're the same house, except one is a mirror image of the other. So it's like,
wow.
It's like way too much. Matthew ended up moving out of that house, unfortunately, but
there's a whole backstory there, as you can imagine. But it's like my this year is all about like the, fight for me to get my son back home,
Yeah.
So that's going to be a glorious day when that happens. I'm sure you can infer that there's a lot of substance behind that.
Yes.
Yeah, but I just love how everything lines up with this, you guys. Like, being twins wasn't enough. You had to get everything else as part of your life had to be at the same time as well. I mean, it does make anniversaries and birthdays and all that much easier to remember. So
yeah,
it does. That's fair.
Yeah, it does. I mean, it's weird. We've done everything our whole lives together. We played, like, we went to college to play soccer together, and then we went to Italy and played soccer out there for a little bit, came back and decided to, be musicians and did that together. And then suddenly you get married and, wives are like Siamese fighting fish.
Go deeper.
You can't put twins' wives in the same bowl or they fight to the death.
But as well as you said there, I think, like, as time goes on in the family and the careers and everything else you're trying to work on, it does then become like second nature that you haven't realized how long it's been before we're going to do a show. You're like, oh, we'll do something next year. And then all of a sudden you're like, what do you mean we haven't played the gig in 5 years or whatever it might be? So I'm sure it's weird to kind of have a life outside of the band, but still know that there are people just waiting for this band to get back and say that they're doing something, if anything.
Wow, that's a very profound thing, Morgan. It's like the last 10 years on Earth have been like simultaneously the most fascinating in history and also just a total wash. Like that was a decade ago. It could be yesterday, It's weird. But there's a lot going on in the world. It's a very tenuous proposition.
Yeah. No, I'm with you on the on that time period because, like, it was like 9 years of the Blackout being split up, and it felt like literally a lifetime ago. But then at the same time, 20 minutes ago.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's like I've changed and grown so much, like yourselves, like we've all changed and grown so much since back in those days. But then to see, like, I can see the excitement in you boys, right? And that resonates with me because, like you, I am so excited about doing a band again and being a band and getting to play shows and see the people who used to like our band again. And it's just it's contagious. It's contagious, and like it's amazing. And I love your energy because I see a lot of you boys, and I see a lot of myself in you boys as well. So it's amazing to see.
It's so great.
Yeah,
contagious is a great word. It's a great word for it, I mean, it can go either way, I suppose.
I was just about to go. Well,
it depends what it is. Depends what it is, really.
Yeah. We got on stage doing that show in Vegas, and it was like 4,000 people, and it was great. And we all just we got off stage and we were like, all just sort of still breathing heavy, and we're like, we should maybe do a tour.
Yeah.
It's almost like drunk decisions, you're not drunk, but you just played a show and it was great and exhilarating, and you're like, commit to anything, let's go. And then you wake up the next morning and you're like, wait, what have I done?
Well, after you have a career in music, doing what you love, it's really it's hard for anything else to compare to that,
Yeah. Well, I was gonna tag on the back of that notion. The Blackout played Slam Dunk in May, and Josh from Yumi at 6. So Yumi at 6 in the UK are about to do their final tour in March and April this year, and Josh did the exact perfect thing. He did the Madina Lake move of waiting until we just came off stage, and then he went, "Boys, would you support us on our final tour?" And whereas normally we originally said, "Oh, we probably won't support anybody. We'll just do our own shows and, you know, dip in and dip out." But Josh asked who is renowned as technically the most miserable member of the Blackout. And he said, will you do these shows? And Bob, the miserable one, went, "Yeah, I do them." And we all went,
Bob's in?
Bob said, yeah.
"Yeah,
We're in."
Bob's in, we're all in." Yeah. The Bob out, the Bob in, more like. I'm so sorry, mate. I'm so sorry. But yeah, that's the best time. That's the best time to catch a band member if you want
Absolutely.
anything. It's the moment
Anything you want.
yeah. As long as it's a good show. If it hasn't been a good show,
Yes.
stay away.
Get out of here.
Go to your corner.
Oh, wow. Wow. Stage adrenaline is hell of a drug, but I was going to go off the comment, Nathan, of you made of, like, you know, for years kind of wanting new music out there before you can tour. But I'm sure with how you've seen the music industry change and just people listening and nostalgia being so a big thing now, that you do have that platform to tour off the old stuff still to this day because of how much it resonated with the audience when it first came out and how the music still stands up and just has a special place in people's hearts, especially those first three records. I mean, that must be something quite refreshing all these years on to know that, like, oh, that work we did, those bodies of work meant a lot to people and they're just waiting for you to play songs off that. It doesn't necessarily have to be something new.
Thank you, Morgan. Yeah, you're absolutely right about that. And I got to be honest, that's just fine with me. You know, I'm a big. There are songwriters and there are people who can kind of compartmentalize things and go to certain places to be creative. I can't. I have to either be in it, like going through something real to translate it, or it's just fake. I just can't, you know, it's just not something genuine. So oddly, I'm at a place in my life where I've got a family and I love my life and I've found wood, as you may or may not remember, which I'm also quite fond of. So I don't have, you know, everyone goes through challenges, of course, and ups and downs. But, you know, it's hard to be sad and convey those kinds of emotions when you have this beautiful thing right here next to you the whole time.
Yeah, but thankfully for Nathan, he's got myself and Mateo. Like,
That's true.
First and second record were about my disastrous relationships. And then third one was about probably me getting my ass kicked. And then after that, it was Mateo's disastrous girlfriend.
Plenty of fodder, these two.
Yeah. Now I'm giving you an eternity's worth.
I just asked Mateo to go deeper about, you know, the time that whatever knocked on his apartment. And he'll tell me, he'll go deep and he'll get all upset. And then I was like, okay, thank you. And I'll come back with a song.
Oh, thanks, Mateo. I needed that. Yeah, he's there crying, weeping, telling you all his deepest, darkest secrets, and you're like, fucking keep going. This is great.
Keep going. It's on his last breath.
What rhymes with mental breakdown? Like you just said, mental breakdown.
And she said, "What? And what time was that?"
We go through each song and claim credit, like, oh, that one's about mine. Oh, wait, that one's about mine. You're like, no, it's part, you know. And you're like, oh, okay.
So she actually brought him back to your apartment.
So wait, borrowed money to go out with this other guy. Okay, God.
Perhaps when you do the greatest hits album, you should just call it Songs About All of Our Girlfriends.
Yeah.
Songs about our past girlfriends. Please don't sue. In brackets. None of you get named.
Oh, wow. But so I'm sure, as you mentioned with new music, then, like, is it a case of there being so much material you've written and you probably have saved on hard drives? Is a part of it kind of comparing it to the back catalogue and thinking, well, it's not as good, or you don't feel a certain way as X, Y, and Z? Or is there second guessing lyrics? I mean, mentally, how has that process been of you finishing a song and then going, I don't want this to actually see the light of day?
Yeah, it's so challenging in that sense, because inevitably you're going to compare it. And, you know, at the time we were effectively kids, you know, writing, and so you compare it, and yeah, lyrically, I am very, very hyper critical, and I don't know, Matteo, it gets just so furious because we'll spend a long time on songs and all that. We'll have the whole thing done, and I'll be like, I'm sorry, I just can't get comfortable with it. And I don't know if it's a rational or irrational, or, you know, something deeper or whatever, but it's been complicated for me.
Do you know what? I'm in the same boat. I've got another band as well that we've been writing and recording, and yeah, there's just one song that we've had for a while. We've rewritten it a bunch of times.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was like, yes, it sounds great. And then when it comes down to right now, I'm like, what is it? There's something about this song that makes me not want to do it, and I don't know what it is. And it's
wild.
It's a weird feeling.
I don't know if you've experienced this too, but like, we used to always kind of refer to them as magic moments in the studio or rehearsal or whatever, where an idea comes together, you know, like full kind of throttle, and you have something. You can feel it viscerally, and everyone else in the room can feel it viscerally, you know, and then you can hash that out, but you've got something. So without that initial inspiration, then I feel like I'm just going through the craft of it. You know, it's an art and a craft, and without the art, or it's not to me worth pursuing.
You gotta have like that holy shit feeling, you know. It's got to just be natural when an idea or a song you're fleshing out meets too much resistance, or something that's just too hard to unlock. I think we typically let it go, because, like, you know, we'd like to think we have a pretty high standard for ourselves, and if it doesn't move like every member of the band, they don't feel going to move in, then we get rid of it.
Yeah.
Do you guys recall any of those magic moments from the first couple of records, and all looking at each other and thinking, like, this is a song we're going to be playing for the rest of our lives?
Yeah, I remember feeling that. I think, you know, every song that made the first and second record, for sure, you know, because there were other songs that we would blow right by if we didn't have that. But
there was a honeymoon phase. Like, when we first started, it was like that, a magical summer. I mean, we talked about forming a band together before we ever got in a room to, you know, all four of us. And then when we did, it was just everything that we did. It was just like one after another, you know, and every song that we wrote, I don't think we discarded any. They all made the first EP and or record, you know. They all came so fast. Like, when it's right, they happen so fast. The ones that are more laborious are the ones that there's something not right about them, you know.
Yeah, I find myself like, I stew over it a bit, to be honest. I've had trouble with it to the point where I've asked other people or other singers or, you know, songwriters, like, I've done it now. I've gone blank now. I've got writer's block. I'll tell him like I've got a friend who I'll send a song idea to and be like, oh, I've got a complete writer's block. You know, what would you do? And then he'd come back and send me what he would do. And then that inspired me eventually to write my own piece. That was as good, or if not adding on to what he did as well. So, I found, just talking to other people outside, funnily enough, outside of my band, you got to have a friend who can keep a secret, not a secret, but, is like, is a cool person, I guess. But, that helped me no end, because I was genuinely completely lost when it came to recording.
Well, I will be hitting you up.
Don't hit to me. There'll be two of us. There'll be two of us going, I don't fucking know what to do, Nick. And you'll be like, I don't know either, Sean.
I don't know either. And even music.
We talked about this on a podcast. We definitely should have got somebody else in.
As well, I'm sure like this is always being a kind of blessing and a curse for Madina's music as well, where the first 3 albums were so rich in the concept and the artwork, and down to every single part of it was like part of this whole other world that you try to incorporate between stuff. If it was little things in music videos or merch or just the imagery and stuff like that, I'm sure that's had its ups and downs with things as well, because you can be so connected and into that world. But as soon as maybe now, where you're out of it and you're trying to write stuff from a different perspective or trying to add things up completely in a new light, that can be a bit weird of trying to think, does it fit in that? Is it separate? And all those kind of things.
You're absolutely right again about that. And, I've been working with this concept called superbia, for this inevitable fourth or ultimate. I don't know if I should say inevitable. But
you said inevitable and ultimate.
Ultimate.
The inevitable and never to be beaten Madina Lake album. What?
That's right.
You said it now. Go on. Yeah. So this inevitable album that's definitely coming.
But it's funny. Habitually, I don't know if you're falling into those patterns, because it's the same. It's this. I don't know, the word concept gives me a little bit of willies, but again, it's, the 7 deadly sins kind of thing, and things I see playing out in real life. It's so weird to have a world right now where it seems 2 factions of people just going at each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's wild, man. We've all lived through some crazy shit.
Yeah.
In the past X amount of years. So, but again, that I don't know if I'm a creature of habit like that, but I'm drawn back into that, Morgan. So that's a really good question.
Yeah, I was going to say on that, Morgan, too. It's funny because like the whole concept of the trilogy that we did was, setting the stage for, if our current civilization or society continues down the road that we were on, ultimately it's going to lead to our demise, and that resulted in the third record being World War III. And there is a little bit of propheticism there, because I feel like this is exactly what we were portending,
Yep.
I always want to called it.
I mean, I don't know if you're struggling for an album title, but I Told You So would be a good one.
That's the sentiment.
Madina Lake, we fucking told you.
Told you.
Yeah, Madina Lake, see previous 3 albums. And then that's it. But yeah, you nailed it, boys. Perhaps you're psychic, lads. Have you thought about that?
Yeah, right? And I don't even remember why we started doing that.
Here you go. Divine intervention again. It was sent from above, just into you to tell the world. You were the warning, and none of us fucking listened. So,
Right.
I do love that, though. For our 4th record, see previous 3 records. That's it.
I am. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, or call it like number 4. I can't believe you were fucking right.
Can you believe it?
Number 4, we nailed the previous last 3.
What more can we say?
But on the other side to that, I've seen that really for 2025, there seems to be like this mantra sentence that you guys keep posting about is that it's 20 years rapping. 2 decades you've been doing Madina Lake since you started. And I'm sure in many ways, and especially now when you're looking back at, trying to get things ready for a tour, that it's quite surreal and it's quite weird to think it has been that long since you all started doing this together.
It's crazy. And I mean, even like just looking at pictures and how young we looked, even though we were lying about our age back then.
What do you mean? What? Were you younger or older? What do you mean? Oh, no.
No, we were older back then.
We're younger now.
Yeah, we're younger than we've ever been. What?
It's the Benjamin Button disease. I see it.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
But,
I've heard of that Benjamin Button a lot.
So I don't know. I don't know about you guys, but it feels to me like time is moving exponentially faster these days.
Is, yeah.
And I think that an obvious kind of reason to cite is being online all the time and media moving very fast. Like nobody reflects on. It feels like things aren't reflected upon, and you just keep going and going and going. So it's like 20 years later, 20 years ago, it was the Goldilocks zone. It was like the perfect time. Now things are going so fast. It's hard for me to even get a sense of things, get a solid footing. But which is also another reason I'm so excited for this tour, because we get to connect, in a sense, slow things down for a little bit. And play.
Yeah, that's true. That's a really good point.
I do what I can.
Well, you're the singer.
But especially when you think back as well and think of those days when everything was so hectic, right? Like at one point your touring schedule was insane because internationally you were doing so well. You come over to the UK and you'd win like Kerrang Awards for Best International Newcomer and still have that fan base in Australia and Japan and places like that. How tiring and how like just otherworldly was that period for you guys to be like flown in everywhere and just kind of seeing the waves of those first 2 albums just kind of blowing up and hitting all the kind of alternative media possible?
Man, it's a great question. I wish, like I think most people with most things, I wish I could live it again, because I remember in the moment being, instead of enjoying it, just being concerned about everything, like, okay, how do we got to hit this market again before we go to make another record, this single, this video, this should be whatever, just constantly submerging that, because the battle is to sustain it and to grow, with a constant fear of everything going away. But Morgan, you're right. I just wrote something on our Patreon about a phase that we had in 2007 where we were on Project Revolution with Linkin Park and Mike Hem. We had 2 days off where we flew to Japan and did Summer Sonic, Osaka and Tokyo, and then flew straight back to back onto the tour. Then that tour ended 3 weeks later. The last show, we took a red eye to Vegas to do the MTV Awards. And then we had to take a red eye from Vegas to Chicago. We had an 8-hour layover in Chicago where we went and shot a video for One Last Kiss on the rooftop of Nathan's building. And then we went back to the airport and flew to Europe to start our first headlining tour in Europe and UK. And it was like,
wow.
Yeah. I don't know how the hell we did all that, but I remember it was really fun and really stressful.
Yeah, I bet it seems like a blur now, but at the time it was so fucking full on. Like I completely, when you were talking then, I was like, this is ticking all the boxes for me. It's like you were at them. You look back at it and you go, "Oh, they were brilliant times," but I didn't appreciate them as much as I could have back then. And one of the things I've learned now, which I think when you come over, if you can get a videographer to come over with you or find one over here to come out with you, the memories and the videos and stuff that you have now of it will obviously live forever. Whereas, I wish I had like 2005's, memories on tape, but
yeah, me too.
Yeah. So a videographer and a photographer right now is, and again, with the way the world's going and content and stuff like that, they're perfect to have as well. So it's good for family and memories, but also for the work side of the band as well, I guess.
Yeah. That's something that you guys have always done so well. And Madina Lake, I think, would rank somewhere around last place there for sure. Media. Oh my God, we've always been so bad at that. Which is kind of weird.
Is there anything you're doing now when you do have these shows, and this tour in particular, to kind of take moments in and be like, kind of look where you are and just seize like these opportunities? Because as you said, like, not only that, you don't know with the way your life schedules and stuff, you don't know when the next tour possibly could be after this and next time you're in the UK. Is there anything you guys make sure you do when you have the chance now to just take things in a little bit more?
Well, I feel like personally, I'm a very habitual person. So for me, I go right back into the thing that precluded me from fully enjoying it the first time, and I go right back into anxiety mode.
Right.
So it's like, you do something one way and you feel like you should change it and correct it. Then it comes and you're like, nope, we're going to go head first into the same brick wall,
We didn't say we're going to do it differently. And we're going to get a videographer. This is going to be different. Everything's going to be on, tracked on social media, but I guarantee you it's not.
Well, listen, there's got to be somebody listening to this who's a videographer,
there is.
right?
There is.
Get in touch with Madina Lake and offer your fucking services. So they don't have to go looking for somebody. It saves them a fucking job, and it will literally make their lives to have those videos and those photos post-tour. To show, just even if it's just to show family in the future. Like, imagine, like, I haven't got kids. I got a 9-year-old nephew, and getting to show him things is amazing. So like to have videos to show a kid, be like, look at it, I know you don't believe me, I was loved. Look how loved I was in the UK. People love me in the UK. Respect me. God. Listen to me. You're grounded. People in the UK love me.
I try to tell it to my kid, be like, whatever, who cares? He doesn't give a shit.
All I want left in life is for my son to think I'm cool.
Yeah.
No, but they will. And they will at some point. You will absolutely appreciate it, and you're totally right that we should be documenting as much of it as possible. I mean, I think that's life in general from now moving forward. It's how it's going to be and how it should be.
Yeah.
Well. Worst comes to worst, boys. Just buy some of those new Facebook glasses. With the fucking cameras.
No. Oh, no. Oh, but I still can't get over that. Like, that was just like, and then one example of your schedule and stuff, right? And like you said that, like in between, like that in the flight, like in the layover, you filmed the One Last Kiss music video. I've watched that video hundreds of times, if not thousands. No, you don't look jet lagged. You didn't look jet lagged. How did you manage that?
Yeah, I mean, I think, when you're going through it, you're just exhilarated by all of, the thrilling aspects of it, and the ambition, seeing your dreams that you literally visualize and worked so hard, seeing and feeling them coming to fruition, that it's a boundless source of energy, I feel like.
And once it starts, once you're in it, it's like a vortex. I mean, it just sucks you in, and you're almost on autopilot. It was terrific. We had some really, really wonderful experiences.
Yeah, but it was, you know what was amazing when we did tour the US, every opportunity we would get, especially if we were like in the Pacific Northwest or South or West, somewhere where we could camp, we would, instead of getting a hotel for the night, we would drive our, van and trailer or RV, or at one point, bus out as close to a forest as you can get, go out there and set up tents. And just prior, we would go to like Walmart and buy a bunch of those airsoft BB guns, just run around the forest and shoot the shit out of each other with those. And I feel like that was great.
That was amazing. Oh my God.
Yeah.
That one time in particular, we were on a Soul Sucker headlining in the States before anybody knew who we were. We played 4 to 7 people a night. But we got the whole tour package to go camping. Somebody knew of a site or found a site. We were between Seattle and Portland. And we pull off this nondescript road. I mean, there wasn't even a road sign on it. And we're like, what the hell is he doing? Like, our vans and trailers can't get over this, this area between the road and the forest. But we all bounce over and it goes through this little gravel road. And then we start heading up this really narrow switchbacks, like when you're climbing a mountain. And about 20 minutes later, we came to the most beautiful campsite the most beautiful place on earth that I can remember ever seeing. We had this like opening with a canopy of trees over us, and you could hear this water raging somewhere. You walk through the forest and you climb down maybe 80 yards of these big boulders, and there's a huge river with an opposing mountain wall face on the other side. I mean, it was surreal. And so all 4 bands were out there just, partying our balls off. And we had the best time. And the next morning, when we were leaving, the cops were at the base of, this weird entrance thing. And we were like, they were stopping everybody. And we're like, oh shit, for
that's weird.
Yeah. Like, what could this be about? And we didn't see anybody the whole time we were up there. We didn't see another soul, and it was pitch black. Once it got dark, it was pitch black. Turns out somebody was murdered up there that night.
Oh, what?
The hilarity.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I've got an idea, right? That the fucking Leone brothers are technically admitting to being serial killers, and this is how we find out. Like, look, yeah, Nathan, I've got to tell him we've had this secret too long. We killed a man on our first tour.
Boy, does it feel good to get that off my chest.
Yeah, Nathan instantly goes, quick! To the studio! I've had some ideas! But yeah, that's fucking crazy. So yeah, what happened? Did you I'm guessing you all got like interviewed and questioned?
They pretty quickly looked into our van and realized it wasn't us,
that we were not capable of any physical victory over anybody else.
But it's just weird to think we're like, it was pitch black and we're playing like hide and go seek games, you're all alone.
We were shooting each other with circumstantially, the evidence looks very bad. I got
Well, I didn't expect this to turn into a true crime podcast, but that's what it is. That's what it is now. Here we are.
Here we go.
No one look up murders and where Madina Lake have toured over the years. Because if this starts lining up, then
we were busy.
Well, and to be fair, we'd also learned this mountain Matthew's talking about is called Mount Shasta. And if you look it up, there's already all kinds of weird stuff that goes on up there.
That's there's some sort of UFO alien-y thing at Mount Shasta. I'm sure there is.
Yeah. Oh yeah. All kinds of stuff. So there's plenty of suspects.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of UFOs, and Mount Shasta comes up quite a bit. So.
Okay. Yes, sir. All right. Yeah, crazy up there.
Yeah.
I just love getting some fucking random bits on this podcast. Another thing, one thing I wanted to mention, I think this is such a huge misconception and kind of thing people just don't really take in the early days of the band, is the fact that, this is a sentence, the two of you went on Twin Fear Factor and spent all the wingings on like the first early demos and EP recordings. Like, A, how was that? And B, has that always been something that like people have just not understood?
You know, to be fair, it's not something that we promoted per se. I know our label, because every record label is like, oh, you got to have a story. Like, I don't know what that means, but I guess we had one, and it was that, But Matthew and I, when we went on it, we hadn't seen the show prior to that, so we didn't know much about it, if anything. And as a matter of fact, when they called, because Shabashal, our friend at the time, he saw that they were looking for twins for this show and submit as us. He applied as us without telling us.
Oh.
So they called out of the blue, and I swear to God, we were in the car. We were downtown Chicago. We were both together on speakerphone, and one of us, I can't remember, literally said, "What is this, Fear Factory for like a tour?" We had no idea. And so finally they're like, "No, this is NBC's Twins Fear Factory." So I don't like a. Hey, whatever, yeah.
You have to do it Fear Factory.
Yeah, and we eventually went through the bit, and we're like, sure, we'll do it.
They told us they were going to experiment like this. They're like, you're not our typical,
contestants,
competitors or contestants. Yeah. Like we thought we'd experiment with you guys, and we're like, we don't know what that means, but okay.
Yeah, but that's fine.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Was Joe Rogan still on it then, or was it after?
Yeah, no, he was.
Was he?
Yeah,
and it's hilarious.
He liked us
because yeah, he did. He took a liking to us because he presumed we smoked a lot of pot, and he had just started. He came and pulled us off the trailer, like all the contestants. They blindfold you in the morning, put you in an SUV, and you blindfolded for an hour and a half wherever you go to the first stunt. And then they walk you into this trailer where you sit until you're ready to do whatever the hell you got to do, which we had no idea. But he came out and he's like, "Can you guys come out for a second?" He had just started smoking weed. And he was so exhilarated about it. He just wanted to talk to anybody, connect to anybody. He's like, all these fucking meatheads come on the show. It's the blah, blah, blah. He's like, "You guys ever smoke weed? It's so awesome." Blah, blah, blah. We're like, "Yeah, sure. Yeah."
He's like, "What the hell are you guys doing
all the time?" Yeah, but he was super cool the whole time. But when we found out what we had to do, we were like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
Yeah, I like the idea that Joe Rogan starts smoking at about 25, 30 years old, but he's acting like a 14-year-old kid who's like, "Oh, I'm a cool guy who smokes weed now."
Oh my God. He's like, "Everything's hilarious. You're like hungry. You want to eat all the time." I'm like, "Yeah, well, standard fare."
But the thing is, and look at him now, and it's all it's
huge.
I mean, the number one influencer in the world,
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I think a little bit too much weed might have gone to his head, mind.
Yeah.
With some of the crazy guests he has on and the things he agrees with them on is mind blowing. You've got to be stoned to go. Yeah, I completely agree with that. Yeah, that's brilliant. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, you're right about that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
What did they have you? Sorry, but what did they have you do?
Well,
What were the stunts?
so hilariously, our competition was like these two sets of twin girls that were both bigger and stronger than us by a mile. Okay. And then these two like gigantic cowboy twins that were triathletes in college in Alabama somewhere. And they're like real men, big cowboy hats. And we're like, well, what the is this? This doesn't seem fair at all.
Bullshit.
Yeah. But the first bit was there was a platform in the middle of a lake, and it was like 40 degrees out, and they had us in our bathing suits, topless into what we do, the intro walks, where everyone like walks together like this. And Matthew was in a helicopter, off the side of it, and there's a rope hanging 20 feet underneath it. And they put me on a platform, and the helicopter comes over the top, and they attach the rope to my harness and lifts me up. So now Matthew's hanging over the side of it, and I'm on a rope under it. But Matthew has a little thing to pull. There's two buoys in the lake. So when the helicopter's approaching this one, Matthew's got to pull the thing and release me to plummet to my icy death into the lake when he thinks I'm over the cone. Then he has to jump out of the helicopter on the next one, grab flags, and then swim to a boat and climb up on it. And the boat runs around, and then you got to hang a flag on a platform.
I remember my legs weren't long enough to reach the helicopter rails, So the guy had to hold me like by my belt buckle so I wouldn't fall out the helicopter.
How much faith are you putting in that fucking belt buckle?
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. I mean, I was going to fall anyway.
Yeah, he's jumping out anyway.
Oh yeah, that's true. That is true. Yeah, but not when you least expect it. When you're like, oh wait, I'll just help my brother. I'll do the mission. I'll help my brother. Like, what?
That's exactly right.
Yeah, that was one of the four.
That is nuts. Yeah, that is fucking crazy. Congratulations, boys, because that's amazing. I had no idea. So, Morgan, well done on bringing that up. Because
Yeah, man, we all wound up in the hospital after one of the stunts. Like everybody.
Wow.
We had to swim in a trench filled with dead cows' parts. And then bite them down. It's complicated.
Yeah. It's terrible.
Yeah, you all ended up in hospital. Yeah, I imagine so, yeah.
In LA, everybody is doing anything they can to survive and to try to make it in acting. So they pay these these volunteer dudes like $50 or $100 to test the stunts the day before to make sure they're safe. And while we were doing the stunt, the two guys who tested it were in the hospital already. And so after we swim in this shit trench filled with...
Well, you got to tell them what we'd do. We basically were on a pulley system, and we'd have to... On one side of the trench was a plate full of cow's jawbones with the meat and maggots on it. And on the other end was a grinder and a pint glass. And so we'd have to take turns. I go this way, he goes this way. And you have big mouthfuls of meat and the maggots running around.
Oh.
Swim to the other side. Spit it into the grinder, grind it up, and when the glass is full, you had to drink it.
Oh my God.
No thanks.
Yeah. No. Yeah, it was terrible.
That's insane that they checked the stunts the day before with a guy they paid like 50. Surely, when you see TV programs, you think, "Oh, this has been rigorously checked."
Yes, you do. And
You couldn't do this. This is like they wouldn't do it if it was illegal, or any of us can get seriously harmed. Surely,
you're exactly right.
Wrong.
No.
Yeah, we were in the hospital for several days. We had
4
a
days.
flesh-eating disease.
Everybody, all the twins that got in that trench were in there. By the time we got there, they were already in there.
Fuck, that's nuts. Fucking Joe Rogan. This is what I'm doing. Like Joe Rogan, smoke weed for the first time and come up with ideas for the show.
That's what he comes up with.
Yeah, I like the idea of Joe just sitting there just going, have them eat cow jaws and maggots. How about that? That's enough. That's not enough. That's not enough. They got to carry it into their mouths to a grinder and then drink what they grind. Joe, you've got to get off the weed, fella. You must stop today. That's mad.
Oh, fucking hell. Well, this is the thing, guys. You've lived a life where you have all these stories. And before we start winding down on this conversation, you touched on it earlier, but it's something I've always wanted to talk to you guys about as well. Is like, you both had a promising soccer/football time in college, and then, as you said, you went to Italy for a bit with that. What was that part of your life like before deciding music was the route, and especially like getting to Italy with it? Was it just like seeing where the options took you, or was it quite a promising thing? If you'd stuck to soccer, you might have been playing for a big Italian club or something like that?
Well, how it happened was we were lucky enough to get scholarships to play at college, and after our second season at Butler University in Indianapolis, we wanted to take the third semester and take classes in Italy. So we moved to Florence, and while we were out there, it's a weird story, kind of. The concierge at the hotel we lived in had a friend who was the manager of a Serie C team in Abruzzo. And we didn't know that, but he helped coordinate a match, for fun, just with some of his friends and us. And then he asked us if we would go and do a tryout effectively for his manager friend. We did that. And then they wanted us to sign these contracts, but you couldn't get paid until you established residency. So they set us up on an archaeological dig in the Chianti region for 6 months, where they would pay us cash under the table, and then we would be able to get paid to play. Through that, we never did that. But through that process, we lasted maybe 2 weeks, and they were like, our own teammates were like spitting on us, and they were like not into us at all. And frankly, we were a little burned out at that point, so we walked away. It never came to a fruition that where it was happening per se. But we had gone over to Italy. When we went, our first stop was at Reading Festival in England on our way to Italy. This is a long ass time ago, but I'm just going to warn you. But it was the Smashing Pumpkins, whole Soundgarden, all that. Do you remember that one? It was a long time ago. But that kind of started our trip over there, and at that point, music was completely taking over. So,
yeah. Well, when you said about the Italian players, then is that just do you think that was because you were American, or foreigners to them? I guess
probably.
They would always say that we don't, Americans don't respect the game, and we're 10 years behind.
Yeah, but there was no ill will or any malice. I don't think in it. I think it's a very much, when you do anything at a higher level, it's competitive no matter what. And, it's whatever it takes. I don't by any means think that it's a stereotypical assumption of any, of Italian stuff, but Americans have not been the best footballers historically, that I can tell you.
I mean, yeah. Who do we have in the Alexi Lalas? We had Alexi Lalas.
Oh yeah. You remember?
I remember Alexi Lalas. Casey Keller, the goalkeeper.
Yeah, there you go. Tim Howard, Everton.
I got Tim Howard,
Yeah.
and Tourette's and Tim Howard.
Tourette's Tim.
I love how these are the references you're going with, not with
I
like
know.
Pulisic or
Right.
Landon Donovan.
I don't know who that is. I've got to go by my 94 Premier League knowledge, right? So here's one. Nobody was expecting. Kobe Jones. Coventry City, 1994 or 1995 and 96.
Wow.
Kobe Jones.
Kobe Jones.
How
Yeah.
about that? How about
Kobe
Brian
Jones, no.
McBride, Fulham?
Nice, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even think Kobe Jones was expecting his name to ever be said again.
No, he
Let alone
wasn't.
me to pull it out of the bag and then bring him up.
But you made his day, that I can tell you.
Yeah. Do you know what? We're having Kobe Jones on the podcast. I'm going to fucking write it out.
Yeah.
Kobe Jones.
Happily. Oh my God. But guys, this is the thing, right? We could talk to you all day, and I just love these stories, and I appreciate you coming on before the tour to give us an insight into everything. But look, you're going to be over here and playing all these shows. Before we let you go, is there anything else you just want to mention about why people should come to this tour? Anything to do with the Patreon, or even another update with the charity work you do with Cherry Bomb? Like, please, the floor is open. Just let people know what's going on in your lives and with everything, and what they can do to go and support all of those things.
Thank you. And thank you guys so much. You've always been so great to us, and we appreciate it more than you know. We're thrilled about coming back there and connecting. And, I would just ask everybody to take a break from their everyday lives, better or worse, and just reconnect, recharge. That's kind of what we try to accomplish with live shows and connecting with people. We absolutely cannot wait to see you. And it's coming up quick.
It's gonna be great. We're gonna play a lot of songs, and some songs that I don't think we've played before. We do have a new Patreon, assuming that's just Patreon Madina Lake / Madina Lake. But I'm sure you
God forbid we know.
Yeah. And Charity Bomb, we're creating resources to teach children how to grow confidence and critical thinking skills and discernment, and fortify the young minds as we endure this crazy propagandized divisive world. So that's what we got going. And I want to say, Morgan and Sean, you guys are outstanding, and we're always grateful for the opportunity to speak with you. Thank you so much.
No,
Guys,
thank you, boys.
Yeah, I've got to take a moment to say thank you. Like I've told you on the cruise and stuff, but seeing you guys play on the boat after all these years, like, just melted my absolute heart. There's a photo. I will share this on the socials. It's embarrassing for me, but I'm about 15, right? I'm doing an open mic. No one wanted to hear me sing a 15-year-old.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. And I've got a Madina Lake baseball tee on. So,
Sweet.
And I got emo, like the emo fringe. I'm gonna post it when this goes out, just so
Yes.
people to think. But like, you guys have been a part of my life for like 10 plus years. I adore your music, and I'm just so happy you're back. And I cannot wait to see you on this UK tour. So thanks for doing it, and thanks for taking the time to talk to us today.
Thank you.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, much love to both of you.
Yes, he's right. It's going to be a fucking great tour from February the 4th to Valentine's Day, I believe. Is Valentine's Day your last show?
Indeed.
Oh, nice. Nice. Well, yes. Yeah, people go and check them out. What a fucking band. What a lovely bunch of boys, as you've just heard. As Morgan said, boys, we'd appreciate it for the music and for the friendship. You boys are fucking legends, and I cannot wait for this tour for you, because it's going to be absolutely amazing. And yes, let's hopefully get together soon in the flesh.
Yeah, let's do that. I can't wait to see you guys.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you guys so much. And thank you for having us again.
Yes. The Brothers Leone there on episode 321 of Sappenin Podcast. There were some fucking stories here that I'd never heard before that were absolutely fucking mental. Imagine checking your phone and going, why would Fear Factory, the new metal, tech metal band, want to take us on tour? But no, it's fucking Gerard Way's cousin, Joe Rogan, calling instead. Mental.
If anything, they had a chance to stop Joe Rogan's mad weed mentality, and they didn't take it. That's true.
Think how much the world would be a better place. I don't want to put this evil on Madina Lake, but if Madina Lake had stopped Joe Rogan from smoking weed back when they met him, the world might be a better place now. Sorry, I'm not blaming the Brothers Leone. If they listen to this, boys, that was a joke. I'm sorry.
You never know. But it's the butterfly effect, isn't it? You never know where things are going.
It's too late now.
Well, you can go and communicate your frustrations about this whole thing. Go and see him live, February the 4th to February the 14th. They are in the UK. Finally, once again, I'm hoping to get to one of the shows towards the end of the tour because we might be busy. We might be busy. A certain thing that happens at the same time. We can't confirm, we cannot deny, but we might be busy. If you want to find out what we're going on about, keep up to date with everything Sappenin Podcast related at Sappenin Pod on Instagram, or sign up to our Patreon page, patreon.com/Sappenin, where you get all the exclusive news first. And we tell you things we're really not supposed to tell anyone else. The whole community of people who share jokes, who share memes, who have a good laugh, who are there for each other during tough times, who'll meet up with you at gigs and festivals. It's a whole thing. Get involved. Please, please, please. Head to the description of this and every episode. There are loads of names there that we thank. But as always, Sean is going to give a mahoosive shout out to the elite members of our Sappenin Podcast Patreon community. Those are the wonderful humans occupying the top tiers.
Yes, thank you very much. Kylie Wheeler, Janelle Caston, Paul Hirschfield, Tony Michaels, Scarlett Charlton, Dilly Califragilistic XBL Grimwood, Mitch Perry, Nathan Croshaw, Johanna, Molly Malloy and James Bowerbank, Amy Louise, Kat Besant, Chris Howard, Jonathan Gutierrez, Amy Hogg, Jenny Robinson, Amy Dawson, Murray Grimwood, Scott Jones, Mayumi, Stuart McNaught, Ellen Southfield, Jennifer Dean, John and Emma, Caroline Robinson, Jenny Munster, Louis Cook, Carl Pendlebury, Jason Heredia, James McNaught, I'm trying to go too fast, Martina McManus, Danny Eaton, Thomas O'Neill, Kalila Keane, Adam King of the Goss Parslow, who has an album coming out soon. They've just released a new single with his band The Nightmares. Check it out. Dan Peregrine, Emily Perry, Ollie Amesbury, Josh, what you call a medieval spy, Surveillance, Crisp. Thank you very much. Fraser Cummins, Laura Russell, Lambda Lee Martin, Connor Lewins, and last but no means least, Kyle King of the Sloths Smith. He's got a voice for radio.
Thank you so much to every single person for supporting us, and for anyone who's clicked this, just listening. It blows our mind that it's 2025 and we're still doing this, and we just get these really wholesome conversations with everyone involved. If you live in the Liverpool area, you might see us there next week. Have a look on our Instagram. We might be, we can probably tell people very quickly. We're going to be hosting the podcast stage inside the Liverpool Arena for U Festival, which is being put on by the Perry brothers of U
Fest. Yes. So we're going to be there. You made us sound like we're just going to be fucking in Liverpool, just wandering about looking for people to notice us. Which we might be. So, check, follow us on social media. Yes, U-Fest next week. Lovely stuff. This has been great. Love the fucking Leone brothers. And see you all next week. Nice one. Cheers. Tar. Keep your tongue out. Don't be sick. Please never die. Sappenin! I don't know what the fuck happened to my voice in the middle of that then. Lovely. You're listening to Sappenin Podcast with Sean Smith and Morgan Richards. Thank you very much for downloading this podcast or streaming it, or I don't know what else you do with podcasts. Thank you very much.